I'm in an architecture office and I'm trying to understand how can I create AI that can help me through my research process of like project data analysis. And I really want to understand how can I automate the process. So if that's you, this video is for you. I'm gonna show you how to create a custom GPT that can help you automate your project data analysis. And this can work for any project within the zone that you normally train the GPT. Okay, so let's go here. So first of all, I'm gonna start by prefacing what is a custom GPT. So whenever you use ChatGPT or any other LLM like Gemini or something, you normally come to these, UI here, this starting page where you will normally ask ChatGPT a question. Normally, when you are doing some sort of analysis of your, let's say for your project site, you normally know your address. So you will normally say, hey, so you will normally start typing here, hey, so what is the setbacks of, this specific address, right? And you might have to give the GPT some context as far as, is it in, what city is it, right? Like, is it Myrtle Beach? Is it LA? Is it where? And then you will click, and then the computer will go and look somewhere online, and it will hopefully try to find the setbacks, and it will try to kind of look the information from Zillow, from Redfin, from the city of X that you want, and it will hopefully give you setbacks, right? Now, the second time you want to do it, you do the same and the same, but you're always typing the same thing. But what if I tell you that with a custom GPT or a trained LLM that you create, you can insert information out of directly from the city of, let's say in this case, Goleta or Santa Barbara. And that GPT, based on the address, can analyze the data and actually give you a more accurate data. Now, is it going to be perfect? No. Sometimes they're going to make mistakes, but it's going to be a lot more accurate, and it's going to help you save a lot of time. So now what if you have a process on how to analyze the project data of a site, and you know that there's 7-8 steps, and you don't want to be doing that the 8 steps every single time? Then you can create a custom GPT or a project that can help you automate those things, and it's gonna save you a lot of time. It can save you, if it saves you an hour every time you have to analyze, if it saves you half of the time that you're gonna do that every time, wouldn't you customize one GPT so you have it there, so every time you wanna analyze a property in that specific area, then you have it. So what I want to teach you right now is how to create one of these ones. I'm going to guide you through the process here. This is the process I follow, how to create this. So if you want a template of this so you can put all this information on your own city, you can just type the word custom GPT in the description, and I'll send you the template here so you can customize it to your city or your state. But yeah, just type the word custom GPT in the description below, and we'll make sure to send you a link to that template. So if you have a ChatGPT account, normally in the plus, you will be able to create the GPTs, and you will be able to share those with people. So you can also share those with your organization. So normally you come here to the GPT part, and you go to My GPTs. That's where you will find, you can create one. In this case, the one that I'm going to show you is this one. So you will normally, so let's say for the sake of it, I'm going to put create, and it will give you these data. So along here, let me make myself here a little smaller. You will have things like, okay, so first of all, you will put the name. So you can say, hey, I want to create a ChatGPT that is like a property manager or a property analyst or a project data analyst or an intern, you can call it. And then you can put the description here. Okay, you are a GPT that analyzes properties and is able to, provide this specific information. With here, you will normally go to instructions. And here is where you will tell GPT how to proceed with how is it going to act. So for instance, in the case that you want to make it about site analysis, and I'll show you here, if I go to this one here that I can create that I want to show you, you can start with the steps, right? So I can say you're an expert site planner and zoning consultant, and you kind of give it this whole description, but then you kind of give it step by step of exactly how you want it to do. So you want to say, step 1, I want you to find the APN number of the site based on an address. The step 2, maybe based on that APN address, I want you to look for the zoning. I want you to look for the land use and everything like that. So something that I found is when it comes to diagrams or interactive maps from the city, ChatGPT is good at looking for those through an operator, but it's still very clunky. So the best way that I can see, I'm totally gonna say like in the next year or two, that technology is gonna be good enough, the operators are gonna be good enough that if you tell the operator, hey, just go look at the land use in the interactive map, the operator is gonna do that efficiently in 5 minutes or less. Right now, it just generally speaking takes the operator 10 to 15 minutes to get there because it's just very clunky and it does some very dumb stuff. And it will take a while to just generate a report. So what I did here to get one of these ones was, first of all, I kind of did it myself. So I analyzed one of the addresses of the properties for myself. So what I did, it was, okay, I'm gonna create a custom GPT based on an address that I need, right? So in this case, I kind of put myself a case study, right? So I'm gonna say I want to kind of create, if I'm doing the project data analysis of a specific address in Galita, Santa Barbara, California, what is that I need to do if I want to get the land use, the setbacks, the height, maximum height, and want to get all that information? What is that I need to do from scratch? And then how can ChatGPT help me automate the process? So the first one here was to first of all put what are the tools that I need to utilize all that information, right? So in your city, it could be an interactive map. It could be, I mean, whenever you start from ground zero, the only thing you know is the address. What is the first thing you will normally need? Normally, the first thing you need before you actually get into the code and things like that is it's an APN number. And normally you will get those through a link in the city. You go to the website of the city of whatever. Sometimes they'll have an interactive map. Sometimes they'll have a PDF. Sometimes you just have to put like, it's in a website thing where you just put an address and it will tell you and it'll give you a lot of information. But the important thing is like, you know where to retrieve that information from, because once you have that, you can link that to a custom GPT and it can automate that for you every time. So you don't have to go and spend 15 minutes looking for the link. The custom GPT will automatically provide you the link, so you can click on it and you can look for it and it would just boom, save you 10 minutes. So for instance, here for the step number 1, I know that the first thing I need to do is find the APN. So what I did is I went first of all and know that this website, if I click on this website here, it will take me to the county of Santa Barbara, to which then I can put the address here, 566A Cathedral Oaks, for instance, and it will take me to the address and it will provide me with the APN and an acreage information. So I know that's coming. So based on that is where I can say, okay, so from here, I will normally get the APN and the acreage, right? And you can have also the permit history and everything. So you can go and first of all, put all this information together in a Microsoft Word document, in a Miro board or anything like that. Or again, just take this template and the only thing you need to do is change the names of the city, and just instead of this link, you put a different link and you can access those. And now you have a template for you how to create a custom GPT from there. Just remember to put custom GPT in the description below if you want this template. Now you get to step number 3, that for my particular case is a sort of zoning or land use or general plan that the city provides. But first of all, you need the address or the APN number. So now that I have the APN number, I know that I need to go to one of these links, right? So for instance, if I go to this link here, this is gonna take me to how to get a permit through the city. But then here's where you will actually get the zoning, right? So it will give me a map, and based on the map, then I can kind of check where the location is. And then from there I can say, oh, if it's here, it's like, oh, it's a R20 zoning, right? So I have the zoning, right? So I know, okay, so I can kind of say, okay, so that will be the step number 2, will be to kind of, step number 3 in this case, get the zoning. Now, does it have any overlays, right? So I'll get the link and say like, oh, yeah, it's over here. So it doesn't have any overlays. But if it does, then it will be, so instead if it's here, then I'll know, oh, okay, so that has the safety zone 6 overlay, right? To whatever that means. But the important thing is that you go step by step and make these thing, like journal the thing of how to do it, right? So these are the maps you'll get on the links. Then the number 4 spot for me was like land use. So this is pretty much the same map as that. Now once that I'm like realizing like, oh, it's pretty much the same map. it has a little more information here. But yeah, I mean, you can click on it and, you know, okay, so here's kind of, I got this information here. So boom, and then you have the area map here, and then you get it from there. All right, so that's it. And then you can kind of start kind of going step by step of how to kind of get the information that you need for that specific address. And then journal it, like go step by step. Here, for instance, I wanted to retrieve code information. So now, with that information, now you can go to the code, right? Because based on the code of the city or whatever you are, now that you have the land use or a zone and an APN and an address, now you can actually go to the code and say, now, hey, based on this type of construction and with this APN, or I'm sorry, with this zoning, these what my height limitations are, or these what my site setbacks are. So now you need a code. So in this, for instance, for this particular case, most of the cities have like the code recorded online. So for this sense, for the city of Galera, the code is right here. So the only thing I need to do is download this, and you can store that in the GPT. So the GPT, every time you ask, like, hey, what are the setbacks for these address here, or these type of business, or this type of zone, it will go and look directly to the municipal code as the building knowledge in your GPT and get that information, instead of coming here and trying to look for each chapter and everything. And sometimes it will give you even the source of where you got it from, and that way you just can click and that's it. So you can download this. So I would recommend you to start creating a folder of these things. So you find if there's PDFs or there's like codes, I'll say put that in a folder, because later on you're gonna have to use that as a building knowledge for the custom GPT. Now the custom GPT can still look things on the web, so that's fine. But when you have that built-in PDF knowledge as a GPT, it will normally look at there first, and also it will kind of create less, let's say, it could be a lot more exact on the solutions, because the moment it starts looking on the web, maybe there's a solution here, but maybe start looking on different solutions on Zillow or other things. So that's why you want to make sure when you have a PDF or something that is actually valuable to the custom GPT, you want to make sure you store that, and then you eventually going to store in the GPT how I'm going to show you. But yeah, so now that you have the code, for me specifically, a lot of it is also the severity map, right? Because I know that in the case of my city, I know we care a lot about the fire severity map, and we want to make sure to know if that specific address is an overlay. So once you are in there, you are pretty much almost there. So at that point, you have to ask, what are the top questions I really want to automate from my GPT? So a lot of things, as you're saying, like what I want to really get out of this is kind of, once I give those 4 types of information, then the GPT can look into the code and can get setbacks for me, the maximum building heights, parking requirements, lot density, use, occupancy, and a lot of these other things that you can kind of get from the code. The other great thing is, like, once you have that conversation going, the GPT already knows all this information. So now you can keep asking questions. So every time you're dealing with project questions or things like that, you can come back to that conversation on the GPT and ask the question, and the GPT already has all that background of that specific project. So it's gonna help to give more accurate answers. So this is pretty much just kind of like a 10,000 foot view of how to create one. Is to, first of all, solve one address by yourself and journal it step by step on how to do it. You can use my template here to just kind of go and look for it and just change the names of the city, and instead of putting these links, put your links, so you kind of have like an outline on how to start one. So now that you have seen this, we're gonna go really quick here to the creation of one. So as I mentioned previously, how you create one is you just go to the My GPTs, you go to create GPT, and it will open this page here. So in this case, I'm calling it City of Galera Property Analysis. You can call it however you want to. You can call it, New York City Property Analysis, BAP edition, or whatever edition you want. The description, you kind of want to make sure you kind of give it like, what's the description? I say property analysis and research. Again, you can call it however you want to. That's pretty optional. So here is the things where, before I go to instructions, I'm gonna come here to the knowledge, because once you have been journaling things, you're gonna have a few PDFs that are gonna be very important. And the main one that you really want to add into this is the code ordinance, right? Which is pretty much the code that your city, your county, your state is using, that you know it is relevant. And this is very important because, for instance, if you're in a city where they are using the county code, that you're not gonna come here and upload the international building code, right? So you want to make sure that you know what is the code that they are using, and you upload that specific code. So for instance, this code is specifically for the city of Galita, so I wouldn't be uploading that for the neighbor city, right? Like I would just be uploading this for the city of Galita. Along here, I'm also uploading like maps, right? Those maps that I was showing you before that were on the website, I'm also uploading them here just for reference for myself, because I can come here and click on them and see, oh, okay, so that's where the references is looking at. So those are the main things you really want to do that. You can also want to make sure in capabilities, a lot of people like to, sometimes once you have all the information here, I will say you can test it. If it's a very simple test where you want to just make sure that whatever information is grabbing from the PDFs, then you can take these out and you can just keep it as the code interpreter and data analysis. In that way, you would just use the building knowledge. Something to note about that though is that you will really limit of what the GPT can do when it comes to research. So if for whatever reason you want to research something or anything like that, you automatically already took the legs out of the web research. So maybe you want to do this sometimes. I generally speaking like to keep both activated, just because whenever I feel like I want the GPT to give me something directly from the PDF, I will specify that I want it directly from the building knowledge and to not use the web-based knowledge. But then that's something that I could do whenever I feel like it's messing on something. But I generally speaking will keep those connected. Then you can create actions here, which is automations. And this is fine, but as of right now, like we're still building a simple GPT that can just analyze the project analysis. I just don't think this is more like whenever you want to have a more complex automations. So this probably will come up later in the future, but I really want to keep it simple for you guys, so anybody can actually build it and doesn't feel overwhelmed. And the last thing here is, this is the most important thing, this is the sauce of it, is instructions. So the instructions here, as you can see, I kind of pretty much went back and forth between instructions and this, right? Because from here, I kind of went back to this and I was like, okay. So for instance here, I have, okay, so I'm gonna divide these in steps by steps. So the step one would be for me to have the property address, right? So I would say, okay, if the GPT will start by asking me what is your address, and I can give it my address, then the first step one will be to kind of get the APN number. So for me to get the APN number, I need to get to that website, right? So I tell the GPT, hey, whenever we start the due diligence process, give me the link of that website. So whenever I give my address, the GPT would automatically say, hey, yeah, I got your address. Here's the link of the website so you can look at the APN. So I would just click on it and it will directly take me to the right interactive map. So the only thing I need to do is put the address there again, and it will give me the information. The great thing about that is that it will encourage me to add information in here. So whenever I say, okay, I look at that and copy paste the APN number in here, it will keep saving the data, right? So at the end, it can give me a report on the data that I'm giving them. Here, yeah, for instance, you have the APN, then item 2 will be the zoning, right? As we kind of saw before, that will be my zoning here. So in the zoning, I pretty much kind of give these 3 links. And then from there, I can click on any of these links and it will take me directly there, and I can really double check, okay, so that's the address, that's the thing, and I can type here, yeah, so the zoning is CG whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then we move to the other step, which is the land use. Again, I provide that, my link to there, right? Now that I have the land use, now it can go again and request and get the setbacks and everything that I want gets automated. So now let's go ahead and test it. All right, so I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna say City of Galita property analysis. So it says property analysis. So the only thing you need to do is give the address, and I actually should create like a prompt here. If I go back again to this, and it's something I can show you guys. So whenever you are editing, And that's the great thing. Like, don't think it's gonna come out at the first time. I have done this many times. So, conversation starters, it would be like, what is the address property that you want to analyze, right? So that will be the first starting of conversation, right? And I will update that. And so every time you do a change, make sure to update. In that way, it will, whoever has the link and is using your GPT can actually get the latest, get the latest update that you've done. Because if you forget to click update, it will not update with the information. So here, you have like the quick prompt. Oh, my bad. I should have not done that. So it's giving me that. So, well, I guess you can just click on that. You didn't even have to put the address, but you can just do that. And you see how it gives you the link here, and it tells you exactly how to get it. It is. So the link it was supposed to give me was this one, right? And it will take me here, and I'll put the address here. And then I know, okay, so that's you see how it gives me the APN. So that's something I need to go back again and to make sure it gives me the right link. So from there, I would just put the APN there and also go back to it and say, oh no, actually, I think I don't know, for whatever reason that I sent to them, 0.42 acres. So you see now it has that information stored here. So I tell, okay, so now we're gonna go to the zoning information. So here's the zoning map. It also, if you go to the first link, it will give me to kind of how to get a permit. And there you will have the information for the links of the zoning maps and everything. But it's great because it will give me an overview of how to get the permit. So now that I'm here, it takes me to, okay, let's go back into this link. It gives me the map, right? And if I go to Google Maps and see where my address is, I'm like, okay, it's an RS20. And if I go here, click on this, I realize like where my address is, which I believe is right here. It doesn't have any overlay, so I can say no overlays. And it will store that information. And then it will give me another link for the land use of designation. And then here, maybe I can just put like a different map here. All right, so there's many maps, and you can kind of click on whatever map makes sense. This is the map that actually makes sense, and this maybe is something I can create a link and make it more, exact. So for this specific one, I know that my address is here, so I know it's a single family residential. So here I can just respond single family residential. So you see now that it has all this information, please confirm you would like to proceed. Yep. Now it can go ahead and it starts getting the setbacks and everything from you based on the code that you're giving it. So you see how now it kind of automates all that information that you give it, and it creates goes to the municipal code or to the city ordinance, and from the city ordinance it gets all that information. And it lists the references here for you. So you can actually go back and go look at those references. All right? Yes. And this is something I need to refine, because you can eventually, in the descriptions, tell it to create like clickable links to each of the sources. So in that way you can click on the source and it automatically takes you there. And you can give it the link of the website. Say, hey, take me to the link in this website where you get the reference from. But you see how you're kind of getting everything here. You're getting the high limitations. You say yes. It kind of now it's converting the acreage into square footages. So now you have the area in square footages. I wanted to get the parking. And if you don't want the parking requirements for whatever reason, you say no, and it will just take you to the next step. You see, and you have that. Now, all these you have to verify. It's giving you kind of based on the municipality, but you never know if it's actually getting it from the right spot. Maybe it made a mistake. So you want to make sure that you go to these clicks, to these links, to this code, and you want to make sure to really check. Yeah, sure. So it's asking me, hey, if you want to check, come here, and it will take me to the severity. So I don't think it has any severity here on the thing here. So I'll say no, it's not confirmed. And then now it's gonna go and create a whole report for me. So the fact that it has done, and then from there you can really go and check the sources and everything and make sure it's good. But it has already given you like 80% of what you need. So here you just click on this, and it will create a PDF for you. If it opens, and here it is. Now you have a whole summary of of designations, the development, the heights. You have the reference here as far as the zoning map, the overlay map, the land use, the coded ordinances, right? Yeah, look, it gives you the PDF. It gives you kind of the clickable things and kind of how to look for them. And that's kind of how you pretty much get the project data. So something that could have taken me an hour and kind of go through the whole thing, it took me 15 minutes. And of course I have to double check, but it saves me a lot of energy and time to at least have a first pass of the report, right? So I hope you like these, guys. If you want to get the template, make sure to put it in the description below, Custom GPT, and I'll send you a link of the template. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know what other type of Custom GPT you guys might like to watch.